What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that NBA draft live stream. The draft is here, and now we're going to see who goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and etc. etc. In this draft, I'm excited. I love these players as players for the NBA. Can't wait for them to get in and show what they can do and show how they can play at the NBA level and prove themselves all over again as they take on a challenge of trying to be the best players in high school, college, and now in the NBA. And that's always fun. That's always exciting each and every year to see how good these players really are and how good these players really can play at the highest level of basketball. And they seem like they're ready. They seem like they're ready for the moment. They're ready for the opportunity. They're ready for the challenge of being great. And, we're going to see how the order goes and how these players goes and how teams feel about them and how, they actually look at these players. We know how we feel about them. We know how the order probably should go, but now they can make their own choices and their own decisions for their team and for their franchises and be able to live with it, be able to stomach it a little bit more, which is always fun. That's the best part of the draft and seeing what we think and seeing what the teams actually think and what they're trying to accomplish with their rosters and what they're trying to accomplish in general. Um, and that's going to be something that is the most interesting. But the draft has always been fun. I can't wait to see what goes down. And that's why I had to go live to share it with y'all on the top of my dome. And we know it's going to be a lot of trades because of the last 2 days. We know it's going to be some guys that's going to be under contract because they was eligible to be able to extend or sign a new one. So I got those out of the way already. And there's a couple guys that just became head coaches before the draft, and those positions are filled now, and they're ready to help build these rosters and have an identity as a franchise and as an organization, and they're trying to be on the same page as much as possible, and that's all you can really ask for in general. If you're a franchise, is that your coach and your GM and the whole organization is on the same page as much as possible to try to get as much consistent success that you can get out of each other. And that's why you have to do it together, and that's why you want these positions filled so you can at least have that advantage when you're trying to build something special even in the future. So that's what I see. That's what I know. And I think that it is fun and it is exciting for them and these other teams to take another step in whatever direction that they're going in. And that's always the fun part about fans. Fans love the draft for that reason. Who we trying to get in, who we trying to help change the direction of our franchise or give us hope. That's what a lot of fans want. That's what a lot of fans try to get is that hope. What can we do to get the fans excited again? Can we do to get the fans to come back again? New players, new style, all of that starts by free agency and the draft, and that's the time that we have right now in the next couple weeks as well. And you can possibly say the next couple months, but most of the big free agents and the big players that's going to be on the market, they're going to be gone very quickly because you want to get that stuff figured out before the season starts, before preseason starts, and hopefully before training camp starts. But you never know what happens. You never know what's going to come as you continue to try to navigate, what's available and what's not available as an organization. Um, so let's see what happens. The NBA draft is about to start, and most people have AJ going number one as well as I. So we'll see if he does, and that's going to be exciting news. So let's see what's popping, man. Can't wait to see how the draft is going to go. This should be exciting. Really good news. The NBA 2026 draft. So many great players have walked that stage and could not wait to do it. Now we have a new generation of players that get their time. Things go a little faster when it's a first round one day and a second round the other day. Makes things a lot quicker. The NBA draft is about to start officially. They still going crazy over the Knicks. It's hard to win championships, y'all. But the draft can help that, as we know. Gotta get you gotta get into the NBA first. And then once you get in there, you never know what's gonna happen. Jalen Brunson, that guy, finals MVP, cup MVP, all NBA player, multiple time All-Star. So their decision shouldn't take that long. We know it's either AJ or Darren Peterson. We don't know who they're gonna go with, but we know it's gonna be one of those two, as it should be, and that's been the discussion for a long period of time. And now we finally get to know the answer. But the Wizards, they got a nice young roster with some veterans on there, and they should be an interesting team to keep up with and watch. I mean, Kwame Brown and John Wall. And now they got Sarr and Young and Trey Johnson and Anthony Davis, Bilal Coulibaly and Cam Whitmore. They got an abundance of young talent. They still got a lot to prove, though, as a team, not just as individual players. And that's going to be interesting to see and interesting to watch, honestly. They said a healthy Trae Young and a healthy AD. That would be a big help, wouldn't it? Two all-star caliber players, two double-double players. Makes a lot of sense, don't it, on paper? And that's what you definitely would want. Seemed like AJ can't wait to get called. He thought it probably would be easy, but it already been 3 minutes basically that passed already. Pick is in for the Washington Wizards. Let's see who they go with. This is very, very interesting. They can finally end the debate of who is the number one pick and who deserves to be. It won't be discussed anymore because it's about to be answered in a couple of seconds. This is the longest walk of all time. Adam Silver been taking his time getting to that podium. AJ Bouncer goes number one, like we thought he would, and now it's official. We can all move on from who's the best player, who's the number one player. All those conversations are all over. No more of that. So that's something that we was waiting to see. It's always fun doing this every draft. This was one where the conversation was more legit and made sense to have, but now it's over. AJ is that number one pick. He said he's been number one in high school, he's been number one in college, but now you're the number one pick in the NBA draft. And he's going to be teaming up with Trae Young and Anthony Davis and a lot of young guys that's still good. But he's trying to make this team a playoff team. He said rather if he go to Utah or Washington, they should both be playoff team if they add him. Well, if that's the case, let's see. Prove it. And that's what he's going to try to do. So he's a do-it-all guy. He can finish, he can shoot, he can score. He needs to improve his three-point shooting, though. Other than that, the guy can play. Rebounder. Just a really good wing, good athlete. They a wizard, him and his team. They put in a lot of work to get to that number one spot. It's hard to be better than everybody else. You're looking at over 100 players that you had to be better than to be the number one pick. Yes, he accomplished it, but it's tough. Y'all don't know how hard it is to do that. The number one draft pick, the hardest thing to do right now. Then summer league, then training camp, then preseason, then the regular season play-in and cup, and then playoffs. This is crazy. Now we're going to see who the Jazz pick. Their pick is in. Maybe it's Darren Peterson. Maybe it's a surprise person. We don't know until we know. Darren Peterson goes too, like we thought he would. Good scorer, good shooter. Can get to the basket, can knock down free throws, can be a solid defender. Got good size for the position. So makes sense for him to go number two. Not a surprise from none of us. But it's still got to be official. Still has to come true for him. Now he gets to walk that stage and graduate to being an NBA player in the world. And we'll see how his career goes. Him and AJ gonna always be compared at this point of their lives and even in the future for being so close to each other when it comes to talent and being basically rivals. I want to go number one, you want to go number one, but it's only going to be one. And it ended up being AJ. So he goes two, and we'll see how his career plans out. I like him. He's a really good player, has a lot of skills, but at the same time, we'll see how his career goes. Darren Peterson. Now we're gonna see what Memphis do. Some people like Cam Boozer going number 3, and some people say Caleb Wilson can go. We'll see if they go with a guy that's proven to do everything that he has shown throughout his entire career since he's been followed, or go with the guy with upside. Good size, good athleticism, good potential as well. We'll see what the Grizzlies choose to do with that number 3 pick. The pick is in, so Memphis didn't take no time to figure out who they wanted to take. So he feels that way about himself. Now we're gonna see what he does. I mean, Utah has a whole lot of talent, to be honest with you. So he's only adding to that. So let's see who the Memphis Grizzlies choose to take at this spot. Should be really, really clear, but now we get to see it officially. Gonna be fun to see because this is a team that is changing up a lot of stuff. They got rid of the coach, they got rid of Bain, they got rid of Jaren Jackson, and now they get a new franchise player possibly to put inside that roster with Cedric Howard, Jalen Wells, and those guys, Zach Edey, and those guys down there in Memphis. I've been to Tennessee so many times, so I like the place. It is really, really fun to do a lot of stuff there and meet the people and spend time with them and enjoy, the weather. But they trying to change their culture. They're trying to build something up that can stand for a couple of years and hopefully be a playoff team and possibly a championship team. We have to see how it plays out though. But the pick is about to be announced right now and become official. Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonza, 1, 2, 3, like we thought. I mean, it's hard to pass up on Boozer. So big, so good, so skilled, so patient, good passer, good rebounder, can get finish around the basket, whether he's in the post or near it, and he can shoot a little bit to be a big. So, he's a really good player, and it's good to see him off the board early because somebody gonna have to slide. Somebody is gonna go down in the draft. It's just how it goes, and it's hard to see him being one of those players. And now we know for sure he's not because he's off the board. And now it's about to start getting interesting after Chicago of who should go where and why. Because there's a lot of players that plays the same position and they all have their own reasons to be drafted. And that's the most interesting part about this draft is you have a bunch of guys that play the same position and ain't really too much different in how they play and approach the game really, and they all in that same area when it comes to best talent available. And now we're going to see who wants what and why they want it with these next couple picks. But Cam Boozer was a one of one. He's a guy that has proven so much over the last couple years, and he did it again in college, and now he has to do it in the NBA. But he's more of a sure thing. He's going to be a good player if he stays healthy. I don't think none of us are going to argue that. None of us are going to debate that know about him and been watching him for all these years. So he's up there with Darren Peterson. He up there with AJ as a proven player. So they do go 1, 2, and 3. Not a surprise, not a shocker, but it's mainly because of their work ethic, their commitment to being great at this game, and also just understanding how to play it the right way. Chicago look like they already know what they doing. Yeah, the pick is in, so I was right. They seem like they it seemed like they already knew who to pick right away. So it didn't take them too much time to figure out who they wanted as well. But like I said, after this pick, in my personal opinion, especially because it's the Clippers, do they want to keep Kawhi Leonard? Do they want to put some young talent around them like they did last year and still try to compete? We gonna have to see because that 5 pick is the most interesting. Do they want a big? Do they want another guard? Which guard they want? A bigger one, a faster one, a quicker one, a playmaker one, a scoring one, a shooting one? They can get whatever they like at number 5. But the problem is there's so many guards to pick, and there's really only one big left to pick, which is Mara. And you can pick him high, or you can trade down and get him later in the draft if that's the guy you want to still get another guard because they're gonna give you that pick. They're gonna give you 2 picks for 5. So maybe the Clippers just trade down. Yeah. So let's see what the Bulls do. The people have been telling me, "Oh, Quinn, the Bulls gonna be good. This is the year for them. They're gonna get a lot of talent in the draft. They're gonna get a lot of talent in free agency. Well, they have a lot of cap space and they have a lot of opportunities to get good. So I can see why the Bulls fans is excited. I can see why they ready, to make this pick. Let's see who the Bulls go with. Caleb Wilson, will he be off the board? Is he that guy that should be four? He kept saying they sleeping on me. I deserve this. I played this. I did this. I proved this. I proved that. Once you make it to the NBA, is no higher level. This is the highest level you can get. And if you're a starter, that's the best you can get besides proving yourself to be an all-star and an all-NBA player, MVP player, finals MVP player. And we'll see if they feel like he can be one of those players by picking him in that top four. The big four is always going to be four. And let's see if it's Caleb Wilson going at that pick. And Caleb Wilson is off the board. So everybody was right. That will be the 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the draft gets really interesting with the Los Angeles Clippers being up next at number 5. We don't really know what they're going to do. They got Ben Mathurin. They got some good wings. They got some good guards. Kobe Sanders and stuff like that. And they got Darius Garland. They still have John Collins, and we'll see if they keep him. So we don't know what's going to happen with Bradley Beal. We know he's going to be free to make a decision, really. But they can upgrade that position right now since we don't know how he's going to be when he comes back. And he can leave anyway this summer. But Caleb Wilson, freak athlete, good length, good size, good understanding of how to use it on both ends as a defender, as a switchable guy, and just a freak athlete. The dude is special and just a really good rebounder as well. Understanding how to get the ball, understanding how to use that speed. The guy is just really, really good. This is a really good player. Yeah. I don't see why they will even consider anybody else. That's why the pick was so easy for them to make. I don't see why would you pass up on this guy? This guy has the ability to be incredible with Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey is a guy that pushes the ball, always looking to pass, always looking for the dump off, always looking for the kick out. Caleb Wilson and Giddey might be amazing to watch together, especially if you provide good floor spacing for them. So he can be a really good fit for them as well for a long time, depending on how things work out with the playing time and the business side of things. Caleb Wilson could be a monster for Chicago. And the East is getting better, and I think the Bulls got a whole lot better getting Caleb Wilson, to be honest. Pick is in by the Clippers, and we're going to see who they go with. One thing I would say, if the Clippers don't get a big in the draft, they can get it in free agency if they want to go with a guard right now. I mean, they can make that decision, but they might be a little older than getting somebody younger that can develop and still contribute. Keaton Wagler goes 5. A lot of people like this. Some other guards, some people mainly say he was the best one you can get. Now he's off the board. And you can't be mad at that. You know, he's an all-around type of guard and still has potential to get better. So not really surprised about him going 5. It just was they going to keep the pick? And did they really want to go with him at 5? But he was probably the best player you can get at that position. So that's how it can be. And his goal comes true. Now you're an NBA player. Jerry West Award Shooting Guard of the Year. Good size, good body, good stroke, good understanding of how to play the game. Although he's young, he can do it all. So a well-rounded player for the guard position. Tough to do that at a young age, to understand how to do a lot of things right that help a team win. Very efficient. Very efficient. This draft is gonna be good. This is gonna change the NBA forever. I'm sold. These top 5 players in this draft, I'm sold already that this draft is gonna be really good for the NBA. I'm a fan. I love basketball. This is going to be a really good draft. That's going to change the NBA forever, honestly. On top of that, Brooklyn is next. They might go for a guard here too. They need scoring. They need a playmaker. Pick is in for the Brooklyn Nets. Let's see who they go with. We know the Big Five is already taken. Most people already look at it and say the Nets need a whole lot of scoring. They need a whole lot of talent. They have a lot of young guys that are still trying to prove themselves. They have a lot of young guys that hasn't shown enough as they have to continue to develop. So this is a big draft going for the future for the Brooklyn Nets. So Mikael Brown moves up. People had him going in the top 10, but not to the Nets. But not a bad pick. We already know how good he is. Good scorer, good floor spacer, good shooter, good size for the guard position. He has a little bit of an injury with his back, but the talent is there. Sometimes it be like even like Darren Peterson. If you that good, we're not going to get nothing close to it anyway. So regardless if you're injured or a little banged up, we can try to solve that. We can try to fix that in the off season and then worry about hooping again before the fall or at the fall when it starts. So even if you're a little banged up, even if you're a little injured, if you got talent, if you got skills that these other guys don't have and that they don't possess, people might overlook it and say we can solve that. Michael Porter did the same thing a couple years ago. He had a terrible injury with his back, still was a lottery pick, still became a champion, still got paid over $100 million, and still showing you that he's a star. And the only reason why I say that because he plays for the Nets as well. And he put up 20 plus a game and almost was an all-star last year. But Mikael Brown can get it done on the offensive end, especially. I think this is a good fit for the Nets. The things that he can do and the way he plays the game is just going to help the team a whole lot. He's a really special player. But let's see what the Kings do. People would like to see if Acuff goes to them. That would be something that probably wouldn't surprise me. But if he doesn't go 7th, then that would be interesting because the Hawks have a Dyson Daniels and those type of guys already on the roster. His father named Chris Brown.
You doing video?
Mm-hmm. And Adam Silver is walking back up, and he's going to make another pick, and we going to see who is going to be for the Sacramento Kings. They have Acuff going as the best player available, and we see if they feel the same. 7th pick in the NBA draft is Acuff Jr. is off the board. So now those are the best players that I felt guard-wise would go. Now we'll see what happens at 8 for Atlanta. Obviously, they have a good young core that helped them be a playoff team last year a little early. And on top of that, they already gave money to Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And then they brought back CJ McCollum. So we'll see what the decision for the Hawks will be. But the Kings do have Zach LaVine, but he opted into his contract. We don't know what's going to happen with him. Other than that, this is a future pick. So this isn't what you think, Zach LaVine ain't going to be there forever. He is a good player. He still is one of the better guards when healthy, but Acuff can play the 1 or the 2. He's a really good scorer. He can really get buckets, a high confident player. And, it makes sense for him to be going early in the draft. But he is shorter and smaller than the other guys. So I can also see why they wanted somebody else over him. But the guy just knows how to put the ball in the basket anyway. That's possible for him to feel. He really can show out on a basketball court, and he is a decent playmaker. as well as a guy that can score a variety of ways. A guy just knows how to put the ball in the basket with ease. Now let's see what the Hawks do at number 8. Jalen Johnson is their franchise guy right now. They're trying to continue to go forward in the Eastern Conference, and they're not trying to lose their spot. They're trying to improve it and win even more games than they did last year. Yep. So everybody's looking at it and saying, man, this is crazy. All these new players coming into the league with multiple things that they can do on the basketball court. This is one of the better top 10s. If everybody can stay healthy and play like we have seen them play, this is going to be one of them drafts where it can change the NBA forever in a positive way. But I would say the pick is in for the Hawks. They already know who they're going to pick. They already know the guy that's for them. This is an interesting pick to me, just like the Clipper pick of who they was going to try to get. No trades has happened as of right now when it comes to the high picks. Everybody got the best guy that they can get and they want it. Now it's about, do everybody want to continue that trend in the first round? People forget a lot of these teams are hit by the salary cap. They already are in that apron or close to it. So a lot of these guys wasn't going to get traded for that reason. They just don't have enough money to pay all these guys. Plus, some teams want to save some of that money for free agency, which isn't too far from now. And it basically already started for certain players. And teams are prioritizing those guys that they want to keep on the roster already. So that's one of the biggest reasons why you haven't seen too much movement when it comes to trades. Teams just don't have the roster spot. Teams don't have the money. And teams, if they did have both of those, they want to spend it on somebody more proven than spending it on a rookie. Most rookies don't help you win a lot of games. It don't matter how good they were, how great they were. Most rookies haven't been able to do that or prove that for so many years in so many decades. It's hard to win basketball games in the NBA. So I can see why these guys haven't been moved or teams haven't moved off of them. But I also say these players are really good. So you also don't want to pass on them if you don't have to. You just look at them and say, we getting that guy. This is a guy that we're getting. This is a guy that we're going to be building with and building around. And then you think about it and say it makes sense to try to keep that as long as you can, because that's what you do with the other franchise players that you get in the trade or free agency or even in the draft. So I don't think that that's going to really change even this year and even in this year's draft. But now we're going to start seeing a lot more guys that are a little older and have specific things that they're good at. Not really all-star or possibly superstar talent, but just guys that you can plug them in and they can come in and play a specific role for you. And those players are important. We've seen it in the finals. We've seen it throughout the playoffs and the regular season. You just need guys that can come in and play their role and fit with what they're asked to do and accepted. And that's what you're going to start seeing about pick number 11 and 12. Some of these guys can do multiple things, but they're not great at a lot of things or one thing. They just understand how to play the game and understand what the team needs from them. And those guys can be starters still, and those guys can be high value role players. So it's still important to have those guys. Those guys are still needed, just like a superstar, just like an all-star. You want an all-star, you want a superstar, but you want guys that can fit around them. You want guys that can play off of them. And that's what you're going to start seeing after, I would say, pick number 10, which is the Milwaukee Bucks pick. And then Dallas should get a good pick to go with Cooper. But let's see who the Atlanta Hawks ended up going with his 8th pick. Kingston Flemings is a popular player. A lot of people liked him. I had him going around this range as well, and now he's off the board, which is not really a surprise. I had him going within that top 10, like a lot of other people drafts and mock drafts. So it's no surprise that he's gone. But he has a lot of talent. He has a lot of upside as a scorer, as a playmaker. He's good, and he can shoot a little bit too. So he is a good player. So they're getting a really good player, and we'll see what Dallas do at 9. But Kingston Flemings is a really good one. He's one of the better players you can get right now, still in the draft. You got that pull up, stop and pop. He's really good at that. Got to be able to play off the ball a little bit and on the ball as well. A lot of the guys in that 5 to 10 range can do that. He just no different. You couldn't get them, so you're happy to have him. That's where you have to look at it. And it just show you how much talent this draft has. That even at 8, you still smiling. You still smiling because you know you're getting somebody that's still good. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And then the Mavericks got a lot of veterans on their roster, a lot of guys that still like being there and like playing for the Mavericks. But at the same time, we're going to see who they're going to try to pick that can grow with Cooper Flag on that roster. Dallas Mavericks pick is in. So they already know who they want to go with. They have a lot of people to pick from at that number 9 spot. They can go with a guy that can really fit, or they can go with a guy with potential and upside to possibly be a star or all-star caliber player. And we'll see what they go with and who they choose to pick. And we'll see what they do with Kyrie Irving this offseason. He's becoming a more popular topic. He's one of the better guards in the league, but he is older and he is coming off one of the worst injuries you can have as an athlete. But we know his work ethic. We know how much he loves the game. So obviously he's going to come back strong. We just don't know how he's going to look and how he's going to play until he gets out there again. So Morez Johnson Jr. goes a little earlier than people thought, but he has size and ups potential. So he is a good player. Good length, good athleticism, good upside if he develops a little bit more in the NBA. So out of Michigan, they get them an athletic finisher and a solid defender as well for his age. So this is a good pick for them. They've been prioritizing defense for the last 2 years since they traded Luka, and now they get one of the best defenders in the draft with potential to be a good offensive player still too. Just a battler, just gonna go out there and fight and compete, and you have to love that. The Bucks is up, the hometown team for me. Let's see what they do. Giannis is out the door. They also got rid of Bobby Portis. They got some new young players in the trade. Got a couple picks. Got an all-star caliber player in Tyler Hero. Let's see what they do with that 10th pick in the draft. Milwaukee Bucks pick is in. They is about to make a decision that can change their future forever. Will they go for potential, or would they go for a good high-end player that understands what they can bring to the table right away in the NBA? The Bucks select Braden Burries. They go for a good guard that has potential to be an all-star caliber guard. So I like it. Remember, Tyler Hero can play both guard positions as a playmaker, as a shooter, and as a scorer. And Braden Burries can do a little bit of that too. And he can come off the bench and give you a spark. I don't think that's a bad idea since he's a rookie. But he is the best player to me that you probably could get at that 10th pick. And we'll see how his career goes. I'm going to be watching him. Like I said, I watch basically every game anyway. So I do want to see what he's going to do. He's a really good player. He's a really good player out of Arizona, a really good scorer, a really good IQ player sometimes too, depending on what you have around him. The Bucks got another good pick. I'm liking what they're doing right now. They're building fast. We just have to see how it goes when it's playtime. And now the Golden State Warriors are up. They just looking for somebody that can help them right away. Let's see what they do with their pick. 11 starts getting a little dicey and a little iffy. Do you want potential or role player? Now the Warriors are trying to figure out what they want to do with their 11 pick in the draft. And they got some good guys still left on the board that can help them. Obviously, Jimmy Butler is the hardest part about the team. Tearing his ACL by the time the season was almost over. I think they need to get a couple guys based off how their salary cap is that's on rookie contracts that can play. Luckily, in this draft, is multiple people even in the second round that can do that for you. So at the end of the day, they need somebody that can defend and also play make a little bit and rebound a little bit and space the floor. They ain't get a guy that can do all four things, which there is some guys on the board that can do that. That can help them a lot. Plus, they need another pick that can do the same on the cheap contract if they're going to keep these wheels spinning and rolling on this car that they have with Steve Kerr. It's still functioning, it's still working, it's still getting from A to Z, B to Z, but you still want to contend for being able to win it all. Golden State Warriors, their pick is up. We'll see who they go for. There's been a lot of rumors of who they want to go for. We'll see who they committed to. But I do think the Warriors need to really take this draft and undrafted really serious, like they have done throughout their time, to develop and get some guys that can be cheap but also contribute to winning. It's hard to do it, but that's your job as a GM. That's your job as a coach to be able to figure that out. And we'll see if they can have this last hurrah of we still got Draymond, we still got Steph, and we can still put some good pieces around them to still be able to win. Like Jimmy Butler seemed like a good fit and gave them a lot of things, but it's just sad how he got injured out of nowhere. Anytime a big injury like that happens to one of the best players in the league, it sucks. If it happens to anybody in the league, it sucks. So we'll see what they do with Jimmy Butler. We'll see if he can come back and still be a productive player. We know he can pass. We know he can rebound. We know he's going to be able to do some things to help you win. But the money that he's getting and the fact that they still have some holes on their roster is their main concern that they're going to try to fill this summer, and also throughout the regular season. So let's see what they do. Let's see what happens with them. And that's something that we have to pay attention to with this selection. Adam Silver is coming with the pick, and let's see who the Golden State Warriors will select with the 11th pick. So a lot of people had Lindenborg going to the Warriors, and it's official. Some people say he might go to the Bucks a little earlier. Didn't happen, and now they select Lindenborg, who most people felt like they would get. And he gives them a lot of the things that I just said, so it made sense for them to make this pick. And good thing he was a guy that was available to be able to possibly fill some of those things that they need on their roster to be filled in their lineups. And he's a guy that can do it for what we done seen in high school and college. He's a guy that kept developing and kept getting better over time. And hopefully he can do that for the Warriors. That's all they can really ask for him to do. Challenge him, push him, and see if he's going to match that energy in a positive way and become, a gem. Keep working. Keep putting the work in. That's all I can say. He's a guy that has done it. So if he can do it to get to this point, he can do it to get even better. That's all you can really want from him. And that's all they can really need from him. And that's why they selected him with the 11th pick. Two-way players are the best players, especially when you can rebound, pass, and shoot on top of that. Talk about a perfect fit and a perfect player for the Golden State Warriors to pick up. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Some people said they was going to trade up in the draft. Some people said get rid of Aaron Wiggins and pick up some good young players on the cheap, which is basically rookie scale contracts, especially this part of the draft. I mean, to be a team that was a number one seed in the NBA for 2 straight years, and you still got the 12th pick in the draft, that's insane. But that's reality for the Thunder right now. And they should be happy the fact that they can add a player of that caliber, possibly, who, depending on who they pick, to their roster. That 12th pick can be important. Do they want to go with a guy with potential, or do they want to go with a guy that's proven at the college level and showing that they can do things as a role player? Think they in the same position as the Warriors, where they just want to get somebody that can do multiple things instead of just being a potential star. When you got guys like J-Dub, Chet, and Shea, it makes sense. Like we have our stars already. We have the guys that can get it done already. We done seen it against the Spurs. We done seen it last year when they won the title. So you don't want to go too all in. Like I said, they made their pick already, so they know who they want, and that's obvious now. Let's see who Oklahoma City picks with number 12 in their pocket. Adam Silver, and they've been holding that card for a long time. They said the pick was in a long time ago. Adai Mara off the board, a nice big that's athletic, very, very good at blocking shots, got potential to be better offensively. And we knew he'd be off the board. We didn't know he'd fall. I said somebody's going to fall a little bit. Somebody might get picked a little higher than what we think. But he's off the board. And this is the range that we felt that he'd be selected. He has a lot of potential and a lot of upside to be a two-way player. And we'll see what happens with his career. But he's 7'3" with no shoes. That's confirmed. Maybe that's the person they need for Wemby. I think Wemby is that good. He's going to take the challenge. He's going to be really good at improving his game throughout the years, hopefully, as a perfectionist and love of the game. But can't get mad at them taking a top 10 defensive player of the year. I mean, Big Ten defensive player of the year. That's the type of guy that you need. That's the type of guy that you should get. It feels a need, feels a void, especially if they decide to move somebody else off their roster this summer. He's ready to go. He's ready to play. And, man, that's a huge pick for the future of the NBA in Oklahoma City, who's still one of the youngest teams in the league and still one of the toughest teams to beat. 7'3", 260 is what he's going to be at coming into this NBA dream of his. But, man, What a massive human being. And he's still working on that jump shot, but he's showing confidence in it. That's all you can want from him. And he's a special player. You would have thought he would have went a little higher, but when you're a project, some teams will take the gamble on you. Some teams want the sure thing, and that's why he went 12 instead of going higher. Probably that's what I would say based on what I done seen and what I know. The champions, Michigan in college, is all three of them off the board already. They all was motor and fight and really playing well off of each other, and they all went to teams that likes to do the same. Now in Dallas, we don't really know because they got a new coach who they just figured out who they wanted to be not that long ago. And Golden State and OKC already got a culture that they know what they want their players to be and what they want them to do before they even get in the dough. So I don't think that's going to be something that he's going to be mad at. It should be something that he should embrace, if anything. Miami took forever to make their selection. They still ain't figured it out yet, but they have some time left. We'll see what they do. Remember, they made the trade for Giannis, so this pick is most likely gonna be more. It's gonna be Milwaukee's, but we just don't know who it's gonna be yet for multiple reasons. Mainly because the Bucks already got somebody not that long ago, obviously, and now they got a chance to get even more talent. So Brandon Burries, they picked already. Now they can get somebody with size, or they can get another wing. So I don't really have too much of a problem with what they're trying to do, and I'm liking a lot of the decisions the Bucks are making. But the Heat is making this pick for the Bucks, and we'll see who they choose to go with. So Bucks going in a good direction. It's hard to figure it out this fast, if you want me to be honest. But that's your job as a GM and as an organization, is to make sure you put in the right talent and making sure you have the chance to get the right talent to be a competitive team, showing that the Bucks ain't committed to tanking. And some teams will usually try to do that. They're not trying to do all that, which is something that they should be happy about. Nate Ament was one of the best players you can get. He's off the board. The Bucks get another quality player to get a wing, which is good. They got one of the best players that you can get right now. I mean, the trade is looking better and better right now. Obviously, it takes a lot of players to replace what Giannis can do for you, but they're doing a good job of getting some quality players in the trade and get another good quality player here in the draft. So they're going in the right direction very quickly. So we'll see how his career plays out. A special player, good size, good length, good athleticism, and a guy that's going to go out there and compete. And that's what you want to see at the end of the day for a young player to just earn everything. And I think he's one of those guys that's going to try to do that as his priority. 6'9", 211. You want him to add a little bit more strength to his body, but he can get to the basket. He's really quick, and he can rebound a little bit as well. Charlotte Hornets on the board. The first round is halfway over at this point. After Charlotte picks, things gonna go a little bit faster. So good draft so far. A lot of young talent. Nothing crazy or dramatic has happened that happened the days before the draft. So this is a clean draft. There's everybody going where we think that they should or close to where they should be going. It's showing that everybody doing their job, watching these guys and understanding what the team needs and understanding what makes sense, even if it is our job to figure it out for the fans. A lot of us was really close to how it should go and how it should play out as of right now. So people are getting better with the projections of the picks. Now we just have to see how are opinions of the pigs play out as players and in their seasons and in their careers. That's it. Is they gonna be all stars? Is they gonna be this? Is they gonna be that? Well, we got to see how that plays out now, since a lot of the people are almost picked in the first round, and obviously for people that don't know, the second round happens tomorrow. Pick is in for the Charlotte Hornets. So he this is a good pick for the Hornets. I thought that I had him in that area, in that range as well. Not really a surprise that the Hornets picked him, honestly. Um, they just need more depth on their bench that can play. They're trying to push for the playoffs. You go for a more proven type of guy in college that you feel like can transition right into a role for you right away and contribute. That's basically what I see with them picking at this spot when it comes to Haynes. So um, he can rebound. He has good size, good length. Look how huge he is compared to Adam Silver. Good pick. This is I said that a couple of days ago. This is a Charlotte type of pick. This is a pick that they would make even if they had Michael Jordan as their owner. This is something that they would do. So not surprised that he went to Charlotte, honestly. 6'10", 248 pounds. You ain't finding that too often, especially with somebody that's a hustle guy. And he just understands where to be on the court offensively and when it comes to rebounding and finding his abilities and spots where to score. Just makes perfect sense. Just gives them something different that they really didn't have. And at the end of the day, you just want to get as many good players as you can and be as versatile as you can as a team. And I feel like they do that with this pick. Chicago back on the board. They have a chance to really improve their bench with this 15th pick. Caleb Wilson is definitely going to be a starter. He's really good. I mean, not get the big three and still get Caleb Wilson is still a really good thing for the Bulls, especially if he can stay healthy for majority of the season and throughout his career. And they have a chance to add another big piece with this 15 pick. Draft almost done for the first round already. Pick is in for the Chicago Bulls for that 15th pick. I mean, the Thunder is going to have to make some tough decisions because the salary cap is made to expand talent to all the other teams instead of just one. The Thunder did the right thing by drafting their players and developing their players that they had, and they turned into one of the best teams real fast. But based off what they're trying to do is spread talent throughout the entire league. And we done seen 8 different champions the last in this decade already and before this decade. So it's going to bring more parity. More teams is going to, even like the Knicks, they have to get rid of some of their bench because you can't pay everybody. And if you do want to pay everybody, it's going to cost the owner a lot of money. So, you know, the Thunder made some really good decisions. They really made the best out of a lot of things. And it's costing them a little bit having as much talent as they have had over the last 2 years. And now with Chet getting paid and Jalen Williams getting paid and Shea getting paid, somebody got to go every year at this point because they either got to prove that they deserve more money or they got to prove that they are great players, or they just have to look at it and say, I have to go because the business side. You know, the roster isn't getting broke up because of ego or anything. It's getting broke up because of the business side. The NBA want parity. They want multiple people competing. As owners, they always said it's not fair. Big markets got a better advantage than us. Now they're trying to say we'll move a lot of these other people off the roster to sprinkle it down to the rest of the league. We got the draft, we got free agency. We want those to be big events and more people talking about the game and the sport as much as we can get them to. And if you do that, keeps the sport popular, keeps the sport intriguing. But the Thunder, they in a situation where they did a lot of things right and they getting done a little wrong. They did a lot of things right with the young players that they ended up getting, and now they're gonna be losing. They lost Zhang last year too, so they're gonna be losing more of them. But it's just the business side of the NBA right now that's making them make decisions that they might don't want to make, but they have to make. And it's just making their roster worse and worse. And it just means guys like Jalen Williams and Chet got to step up and play at all-star level every single season. And in the playoffs, and if they don't, they just going to come up short and not be champions. So again, best part about it is they won a title already. They already got it done and they already experienced that with all these guys together. Now they're going to slowly drift away. Just like Africa, just like Europe, just like America. They're going to slowly drift away. Not what you really wanted, probably, but that's just how it works. And that's just how it goes sometimes. But I do want to know who Chicago picked with this 15th pick. Chicago, based off what they're doing and what they have when it comes to money, they can really change their fortunes right away if they want to, or they can do it the patient way and build through the draft and build through good trades and taking gambles and flyers on players. Not the easiest thing to do, but it's another way to become a great team. They haven't won since the 90s. They haven't made it to the finals since the 90s, showing you how hard it is to accomplish those goals and how hard it is to get success consistently to happen for you in the NBA at the highest level. Swain is one of the better players as well. He went down a little further, but he's still in the same area when it comes to selection. It's good to see him get picked. He's definitely one of the better players still left on the board for a lot of us. Really good player. Can do a lot. The Bulls not going to complain about getting him. I know he looks like he's really happy that he's officially in the NBA. But he's really good. People still at the draft is halfway over. So let's see what happens. With Memphis, they had the number 3 pick. Now they got the 16th. They got a lot of young talent. They got a lot of guys that show that they're willing to play hard. Now they got to figure out what else they want to add to the team. And they got a good chance of adding something special again. This is a really good pick for Chicago. They going with guys with upside and potential and guys that can compete on both ends. That's what you want. That's what you want to have. And now they got another guy in Swain that can do that. He can do multiple things for you. And he plays hard. So that's a really good pick for Chicago. Maybe my fans was right when they said that Chicago, they're going to figure it out. It looks good on paper since I know the players that they have already and the players they're adding to this roster in the draft. They're going in the right direction, in my personal opinion. I like their picks right now. They're a star of the draft right now, in my personal opinion. OKC gets the 17th pick. Charlotte Hornets get the 18th pick. And we'll see what Memphis do right now with that 16th. Memphis pick is in. We're gonna see what they do with it. They're in the West, so they need to really get another really good piece that can be there for at least 5 years. Bennett Sturts off the board out of Iowa. I think they need a guy like him, especially off their bench. He's an interesting pick. .6'2", 186, can shoot that ball. And that's all teams want right now. And they get him on a rookie scale contract, and he's going to be ready to pass and ready to set people up and ready to shoot that ball whenever he feel like it. He's in a good spot. Number 17th pick for the Thunder. They already had a really good pick with Mora. Now they get a chance to add even more talent with the 17th pick. I would say there's nothing that they really need besides getting another quality player because you can. The Thunder has so much talent that they already scary if they're healthy. They don't really need something crazy. They gonna get something good, but they ain't like they're crying for talent. Um, that's just the truth. So we'll see who they choose to go for with this pick. But I ain't really got nothing to say for them because they got the bigs, they have the spacing, they have the cutters, they have the ball handlers. They got one of the best players we ever seen in Shea. Jalen Williams, he just got to stay healthy. AJ Mitchell is already a guard that can score and pass and get his own. They just got Mara to go with Chet and Hartenstein. They still got Jalen Williams, the big guy. And they don't really need much right now. They got enough to compete for a title. They just got to stay healthy. But this is a blessing and to get even better possibly with some of these rookies. There's some people on their roster I feel like can be cut, and there's some guys that's already in this draft that's probably already better than some of the guys they have on their roster. But it's a reported trade with the Grizzlies now. So let's see what that's going to be since it's just being announced. The Grizzlies received the 17th pick and 2 second-round picks. The Thunder received Bennett Sturts. So, I mean, that's a good trade because you get a shooter. You don't really care too much about the second-round picks because the Thunder have so many picks. I told y'all in the mock draft that the Thunder are going to try to move up and get rid of some of their picks to get more of a proven guy, which this is basically what they're doing. So not really a surprise to me. If I'm going to be honest, they knew who they wanted on their board. They had so many assets to get anybody they basically wanted in this draft, probably besides AJ Boozer and Darren Peterson and probably Caleb Wilson as well. So them getting this far isn't a shocker, get this pick moved up for them. 2 second-round picks is crazy for Bennett, though. Do you really want to trade the 2 seconds to get a shooter? I mean, he did shoot real well. He did score real well. He has the ability to do more than that, depending on his role on the team. But the Thunder do like shooting. They do like spacing like everybody else in the league. And now we get to see what happens since the pick is in right now. But eventually they do have to start making those type of decisions with their picks and their roster because they're going to have either too many guys coming in or they're not going to have enough roster spots for them. And then on top of that, they can't pay them all anyway. So they're going to have to trade them eventually for something else. They got their candy and they water, their agua. So Corey off the board. That's a shocker. He was later in the area for me, more in that going into the second round type of area. They obviously seen something in him that we didn't see. This will be the first one where we look at and say he went higher than what we thought he would. Not a bad player or anything like that. It's just other guys that I would like more than he will be, in my personal opinion. But the guy can play. He's a good player. We knew for sure he should go in the first round at Analysis Playground. He's off the board. Um, he's a good player. So we'll see how his career goes. The guy understands what he's good at, stuck to that, and it paid off because he came close to being a lottery pick, fell a little short of that, but he's still in the NBA and still got a chance to prove himself. 6'1", 186 pounds out of Stanford. Can make a shot, can get a bucket for you. He's going to do it a little hard, going to do it a little tough. May not be as efficient at the NBA level. For that reason, it's going to be harder, to get that separation. It's going to be harder to get by people unless you can use screens. But it's his job to figure it out. It's his job to make the adjustments. And we'll see if he does that and becomes a good sixth man, seventh man, or eighth man, or will he become a starter in his career because he becomes a really good bucket getter. So he's an interesting player, but he's shown some flashes of being something special. Some good guys still left on the board, as y'all can see if y'all watching the draft. Phylon, Cameron Clark, Lopez, Sinak, and Christian Anderson are all really high character guys. So you'll be happy if you're a franchise to add them to your roster. So that's something that you ain't gonna really complain about. And that's the best part about the draft. You have so many players to pick from that you get to try out and see and interview and get to know before you make your decision. So another team like the Hornets trying to make a playoff push, trying to not be a play-in team this up-and-coming season. They have a lot of youth and a lot of guys that fit real well, as we've seen, a young coach that believes in them and understands how to get the best out of them. And now they get to add another young player to their bench, and they get to see some positive signs from them, like they have seen in the pre-draft workouts and things of that nature. So the Hornets, they're good. They're good. So now they're trying to be great. Can you go from good to great? That's a tough thing to do. Can you push yourself? Can you motivate yourself? Can you accomplish that goal? Well, most of them got here because of that. And now they have to do it all over again when it can be the hardest and the toughest thing to do. But ain't nowhere up. Ain't nowhere to go but up from here is what they have to look at it like. But the Hornets and the Raptors and the Spurs are the next three teams. And the draft is going by quicker now. So should be getting ready to come to an end within the next hour or so. And I'll possibly see y'all tomorrow with the second round. Can't wait for that. Still a lot of good players that should be available in that second round. And we're going to see what happens in the ending of this one and the beginning of that one. And they still don't have a pick in just yet. So they really thinking and they really looking at it. They finally got it. It took them a while to figure out who they wanted. There's a lot of players that do similar things right now in this range. Is this about, do you want somebody bigger, somebody faster, or somebody that can shoot a little better than another person? And that's what I was saying in that 5 through 10. Do you want the bigger guy? Do you want the better shooter? Do you want a better playmaker? Do you want the better ball handler? Um, it's all different because, like I said, we all born different. We all go about the game different. We all read it different. We all different level of athletes, and that do factor in how we choose to go about the game, how we choose to play the game, and that's why it's important to know some of those things and try to make a decision based off what you really want and how you really want to play the game as a team, because your guards is going to really dictate how things function on the perimeter. So it is important to have those things figured out as a GM and as an organization when going into the draft and even as a fan, because that do change stylistically how you're going to play as a team on the court. Um, Pick is in for Charlotte, like I said before. Will they go for a big? Will they go for a wing? Will they go for a guard? It's a plethora of them out there still in this first round and even going into the second round, the beginning of it. And we'll see how this goes. Um, Summer League, Las Vegas, one of my favorite cities, one of my favorite states, Nevada, 9th through the 19th. I'm going to be watching that and covering that on this channel. Some instant Summer League analysis um, is what I'm going to be trying to do this summer. And Charlotte has the pick. And let's see what they go and do with it. Chris Anderson Jr. was one of the best players you can get in this area. He's gone to the Hornets. He's a guard, and he's a good one. He's definitely one of the better ones left. You do want a backup guard if you're the Hornets. They don't really have a crazy amount of them. So it is good that they chose to try to solve that in the draft and bring him along slowly, because they still have LaMelo Ball, who's going to be their primary playmaker and decision maker. But it is good that if he goes to the bench, you got somebody that can still space and shoot and also create, which Krista Anderson can do all three of those things coming into the NBA. So now you just have to see if it works and if it pans out. But this is his moment. He worked for it. He put a lot of time into it. And that was a reality for him. He achieved it. Now you got to see how things go for him going into the NBA. Six one, 180. Literally a point guard, literally. Toronto getting their 19th pick. We'll see if they keep it. They're a team that made the playoffs and trying to do it every single year now. They got a lot of guys that's young, that's already performing at a high level as young players in the league. They got a couple of guys that's been around for a while as well and still can play. They're trying to add depth to their bench and be able to have more different ways to play. I would say this one most probably going to be a wing. They got a lot of them. If they're not going to get a wing, they're definitely going to try to get a backup guard again. because they got some people they might have to cut as well this offseason because of the salary cap. So the Grizzlies get 3 second rounders and the Pistons receive Ibuka. So that's what's basically happened for the Grizzlies. 21st overall, and now they also picked up 3 second round picks to move back in the draft. And it makes sense. I mean, the Grizzlies trying to get as much talent as they can and trying to find a way to get the guys that they like inside so they can develop them or see what they are and what they can be for them. And even if they turn out to be guys that doesn't fit or isn't the greatest, they can always move off of them while they're still young and get probably another second round pick in the future. But the Grizzlies, they've been getting tons of picks lately as well throughout the last couple seasons. Obviously, we haven't seen any Ja Morant trade as of now. Like I said, his contract is tough because he hasn't really played at a high level, and he also misses a lot of games for a lot of different reasons. So you might have to package some of these picks, including him, to get off that contract because he asked for a trade, and it seemed like they was ready to move him anyway. You're gonna have to try to find a way to make a team really want him, and you might have to give up some assets, including him, to get off of him. And we don't know how he's going to play. We don't know how he's going to perform, but we do know that that's a relationship that most likely ain't going to really happen. So we'll see what happens with Ja. We'll see what happens with the Grizzlies. But they did a good job of trying to pick up more assets and try to get more swings at getting a star or just players that they like on their roster. Toronto pick is in. So we're going to see who they decide to go with at this point of the draft. Only 10 picks left after this one. So the first round has been really entertaining. The trades are starting to come in now because either you like the guy you got or you just feeling other people. And that's the toughest thing. Sometimes you feel like we like so many people that we'll move off a guy we really like to get more that we do like. And the draft has always been like that. It mostly happens in the second round, but it's happening again this year, like it did in some other years recently, in the middle of the draft, which is around where we're at now. The Raptors are going to pick Allen Braves out of Santa Clara. I don't really have a problem with that one. He probably went a little higher than some people thought he probably would go, but the dude can play. He has a good body. He understands how to run the offense. I mean, not run offense, but he's a forward, but he understands how to play hard. He's going to go out there and do what he can to impact the game. Some people did have more going to the Raptors too, so you gotta give them credit for basically getting that one right. That's a really cool thing to see. But the guy is a really good player. He's a workhorse. Those are the type of guys that they already basically have in Toronto. So they like them type of high character guys, and now they get another one with Allen Graves. So it's a good pick for them. You want the ones that's gonna try to do whatever they can to help you win. Those are the guys you really want if you can get them in trades and free agency in the buyout or even in the draft. And Toronto has shown that that's the type of guys that they want. They might not be the greatest offensive players, but we've seen, that it was still working for them a lot during the regular season and even in the playoffs. So that's a cool thing for them. That's the type of structure they're trying to build with their roster and with their coaching staff. And we'll see if it works and gives them another championship this decade or next one. 6'7", 226 pounds, understands how to run, get things created with defense sometimes as well. Um, Got to be able to pull up consistently and knock down them shots on the perimeter. He showed that he was able to do that. We'll just have to see if he can do it at a consistent level at the NBA level. That's going to be important. But no real big questions. They did need more shooting on the perimeter, but that's mainly just as a lineup change type of thing. You just need somebody that can fit and make things easier, even if it's spacing the floor for guys that's out there. Santa Clara been having a lot more success the last couple years with players panning out to be really good players in the NBA since Steve Nash did it in the 90s and who became a two-time MVP and one of the greatest players we ever seen play the game of basketball. And the Spurs, the number 20 pick, finally they back on the board. But when you win 60 plus games, it's hard to get a good pick unless you traded for it. There's a lot of things that they can do though. But when you have a player like Wemby, you have the type of guards that they have. It's not really a crazy amount of things that you need. Just like the Thunder, especially when all the guys are young and hungry. It took them a while to make their decision though. Harrison Barnes and Champagnie are the free agents this year for the San Antonio Spurs. So that's one thing that you have to remember. Two, they did have a couple first round picks that panned out real well, and it helped them accelerate their success as a team. And they did get free agents that helped, like Luke Cornett a little bit. And then obviously drafting Dylan Harper really helped them as well. And trading for De'Aaron Fox helped them too. He did a really good job in the regular season, was also an all-star for them. But they're just going to try to go with a guy that can play and they can just plug in and just say, we need you to do this role for us. Can you come in and do that? They already done had these talks. They already done interviewed these guys already. Now it's just about taking them and seeing if they can actually do it on the court for them. But this is going to be like a 9th, 10th, 11 man type of thing anyway. So these guys going to have to sacrifice. Jaden Quince is off the board. He's going to San Antonio. Most people said they need a physical type of bruiser to go along Wemby. Obviously, Harrison Barnes couldn't really do it. But he can shoot a three better. But he's going to be a free agent. And then they already have Cornette as their backup center. So this is a pick that a lot of people seen could happen for him. And now it's a reality as of now. He's a defensive guy. He's a fighter. So that's really good at 20. And now they don't have to worry about getting it in free agency. They can just keep him for a couple years and see if he fits what they're trying to do and what he can be for them. And just see how it continues to go after that.
I'm out your bathroom in the kitchen, so it's wet. You want me? When I get off work tomorrow, I'm going straight to the laundromat. You want me to bring you some juices home?
Yeah.
Cause I cleaned out that refrigerator yesterday, and I seen you only had one. Stop that. I got to go. I'm stop at Woodlands. I can get no soap. The market was saying they got it, and I went and got the gas and the chips, but I got to get my soap. Got the other stuff from Walmart. brand that I could get cheaper. That ordinance, that option, so that cheaper. James baby gone for 2 weeks. He thinking we got 2 weeks for July. I told him Tuesday is July 1st. Oh, I was going to my mother's house Monday and was gonna stay over there. Well, I may stay over there starting tomorrow. I got to work on Mr. Fair truck because I got to haul stuff and take stuff. I said, well, you want me doing his truck tomorrow? I told him it's supposed to rain tomorrow. And they didn't even take Marcus stuff. He came back and did the garbage. And they had the lift arm the dump it. Then the other garbage can guy came, stopped in the front of our house, but across the street, didn't come over and get it. So now we got 2 baskets still outside with his stuff. These people just gonna be going to do their job.
The pick is in, and let's see who goes number 21 in the NBA first round of the draft. Kareem Lopez is gone out of Mexico. So that's a good pick. He was one of the best players still remaining that you can get. And now he is an NBA player. Just a really good, solid player. Really understands how to play the game. Good size for the position. And another wing for Memphis, basically. 6'8", 222 pounds. Understands like how to play his game at a high level. Doesn't really have to rush things. Doesn't really have to force things. You have to like that. Doesn't get in the way for most of the time. And, you know, that's definitely the type of guy that you want as a wing. Somebody that can get a shot when they need to and don't have to try too hard to do it. That's something that you have to look forward to having at this point of the draft. Like I say, you get into a point where you get more skill set players than potential stars or superstars. They might still be around for 5 to 10 plus years, but they'll just being good support players. That's mainly what you're going to see from 20 all the way down to 60, which is the second round included in this draft. But it is some guys still on the board that has upside that can still possibly be stars. It just they would have to be in a better situation or a situation that caters to them to put up the numbers that's required to be able to get those type of accolades. But we done seen people do it before, and that would be the type of situation that would have to happen for them to be able to thrive. Sixers are on the board um, right now with the 22nd pick. They're a team that just needs to continue to add to what they have. They still feel like they can compete. They just need to add another quality player, even in the second round, honestly, that's on a cheap contract, and then try to get another solid free agent. Not nothing crazy, not nothing game breaking, because they can't really afford to do it, but they just got to continue to try to compete with Embiid and those guys while they still have them. This is the team that they built. They feel like it'll be a good one. Hasn't really turned out to be that great. You know, they did get out of the first round. They did beat the Celtics, but at the same time, they got swept and embarrassed a little bit by the Knicks, showing you that they're still far away for being a contending team. And Embiid was healthy for basically majority of the playoffs, although he did miss a couple games, and it still wasn't enough to even win a game against the Knicks. So we'll see what they decide to do um, with this pick. But, you know, they're another one of those rosters where they're going to be top heavy. They're going to use their five as much as they can to win games. And they just need people to come in and help here and there as they try to build the lead and win the games in the fourth quarter. And, you know, that's what they're going to try to do with their pick if they don't trade it or trade down. I do think they do need multiple players, though, for cheap if they're going to try to continue to try to win with Embiid and Paul George and Maxey as their big three. Although people are going to say BJ Edgecombe is one of them too, but he's already on a rookie deal, so his contract is already cheap. Although he did play real well for him, so he wouldn't count for that reason. Maxey and them are making crazy contracts. He's just making a rookie one, and they're going to have to pay him in the future. So that's going to be something that you have to see how it pans out. Still a lot of good wings and guards on the board, which isn't a surprise because we knew that coming into the draft that was going to be the case, especially in that top 15. And now you get more guys that can do certain things, but not a lot of things at this point of the draft. And the Sixers still haven't picked. They took all the clock that they could to make this pick. So it just lets you know that they really had guys that they liked and wasn't fully 100% on if they wasn't on the board still. But it'll show you how important these decisions are in your team building and in your success when it comes to trying to win a championship. So Pylon Jr. is off the board. He was one of the best players you can still get. He's a guard. I know y'all go, oh, they already got VJ, they already got Maxey, but you still got to get the best player you can get and figure it out later. And on top of that, you want more depth. If they go down or they get injured, you still want to have somebody that can come down and hold it down for them. And you as a coach, because this team, they always have something going on when it comes to injuries, and you just want to have as much insurance and as much security as you can have um, as a team. And this is one of those guys that really performed well and felt like he should make the move to the NBA, and they ended up saying that we agree. Let's get you on the roster as of now. Atlanta got another pick at 23. They may go for a wing at this point. Um, 6'2", 176 pounds. Um, this is a standard guard, not really doing anything too crazy for any team that he had played with. But he got the basics and the fundamentals figured out of how to be a guard in the NBA, possibly too. He's small, but he understands how to play the game. So you just had to have that in the back of your head when he's out there. And like I said, he's one of those guys where opportunity ended up allowing him to be the player that he ended up becoming. And that's what I was basically saying the whole time about a lot of these players from 20 to 30. Opportunities is going to really be key and important for them to find success and be bigger than what they might be right now in the draft. Because a lot of these players, honestly, are coming off the bench. So, that's how they're going to have to start. And that's the situation they're going to be in when they're coming into the NBA, unless something crazy happens in free agency or during a trade deadline that they proved enough, they showed enough, or they wanted to move off of a certain player so they can just become starters because of that. But it happens. That's why I had to bring that up, because that's a possibility as well, which isn't really anything new for the NBA. It's a business, so teams are always looking to save this, do this, try to get this, try to get that. So it is something that's obvious. So I just wanted to state it to the casual fans that you might get a guy that looks good, or you might think can be good. Might not happen right away, but it's okay. It's going to be okay. They can still find a way to be good in the NBA. Atlanta pick is in. 7 picks to go. And the first round is over. Zuby is off the board. Told you a couple wings is going to go off the board. And Zuby, 6'7", 245. That's a nice size when it comes to physicality, but not the greatest shooter. But at the same time, he understands what he's out there to do. Sometimes that's the most important thing. He has a lot of effort, and he does try hard. So that's one thing you have to worry about when it comes to him. But at the same time, he's going to play some good defense on you and make plays as much as he can on that end. And those are winners. And you want guys that can be the guys that can help get something set up or make the right play because of effort or do it defensively. And Zuby can get that done for you. New York has been going crazy because they won the championship. And now they have a chance to add a nice solid piece to their bench for the cheap. And they get to do it at 24. So we'll see how long it takes for them to make their pick in this draft. But they're not really looking for anything crazy. They're going to have OG. They're going to have Mikal. They're going to have Towns. Obviously, Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. Those guys are one of the best starting fives in the NBA. That's not going to change next year unless injuries happen, which is part of the game, but I don't wish it on them. I don't want it for them. But at the same time, they're going to be a tough team next year too, which isn't going to be a surprise to none of us. But the roster at the bench point is going to change a lot. James Dolan has came out and said, I'm not really interested in keeping this team together cost-wise. I'm not paying all that money to keep the roster together. So the draft can help them find quality young players on the cheap that can help them win by playing 10 to 15 minutes. They just need guys that say, well, I can play 25 minutes if somebody get injured. I can play 10 to 15 minutes on the cheap and still try to fill that role or that void that they might lose in free agency. And that's the way they're looking at the draft. And that's why it's going to be important for them to get this right to extend their window of possibly being able to get to the NBA Finals again and win another championship. They got there and won their first getting to the finals, and now they're going to try to do that again in these next couple of seasons. But they're becoming an older group, and they're going to have to really take this off season to rest their bodies, because the older you get, the harder it is to heal from injuries, and the easier it is to get injuries when you're playing 82 games and you're trying to play the cup and you're trying to play in the playoffs for a long ride to the NBA Finals and trying to win it again. So it's a reported trade. I would think they need to get as many of these players as they can. We'll see what the trade is, but at the end of the day, New York is swapping the number 24 pick for the 25th pick, which is the Lakers pick, who is right after them. So basically, the Lakers are moving up to take the 24th pick from the Knicks. I think the Knicks, honestly, like I said, even with some other team, they should try to get. This is a draft where you have a lot of players where you can just take them and put them on your roster and they can play for you as rookies because they're older or they already knew their role in college and it's going to be a similar role in the NBA. So they should be one of them teams that's trying to move down more. They're trying to get a couple more guys to plug into that bench so they don't really have to do it in free agency that much. Or even they might say we just need it until the buyout season and try to get one or two guys there. But other than that, the Knicks are in a good spot right now. And they're going to be one of the best teams in the league again next year if healthy. I don't think none of us are worried about that. Just like we didn't worry about that this season either. When I seen the Knicks roster, said this is a finals roster. They can definitely get there. We don't know who their opponent is going to be. And most people thought it would be the Thunder, but it ended up being the Spurs. They ended up getting it done. But they're in a good spot, you know. But if they're going to play this game in the draft right now, they should do it in the second round tomorrow as well. And I think it'll work. They have enough interest. And the 25 pick, you know, isn't going to be bad because, like I said, a lot of these guys going to do similar things. It's just what type of body type you want, what type of athlete you want. Do you care about shooting? Do you care about rebounding? Do you care about defense? All those things are going to be what these next 5 picks are going to be in the first round because that's what's going to separate who you want and who you don't want. That's just how it's going to go after the Lakers take this pick at 24. So got a lot of guys that's going to do similar things for you. It's just the body that you want and the skill that you want with it is going to make the difference in who you selecting and who you ain't selecting. But, you know, let's see what this pick is since it's on the board. Look at all those guards and all those forwards, and you only really got one center remaining who can also go in the second round because, like I said, guys are going to drop, and we already done seen that already a couple picks ago. And Cameron Carr off the board. So he sat for a while and he's probably dissatisfied with that. He's probably not feeling it because he is one of the better players in this draft, but he's gone now. So now it's about just using it as motivation and just trying to go out there and prove it in summer league all the way into training camp and in preseason. And then accept your role after that. And like I said, the Lakers getting a good athlete and a good competitor is something that every team wants. And if you can get that at 24, you might as well. So we don't really know. Only reason why I say it like that is because we don't really know what the Lakers are going to do in free agency. We know that they locked up Luka last year. We don't know how much they're going to pay LeBron or if they're going to be able to keep LeBron. We don't know how much they're going to pay Austin Reeves, and we don't even know what's going to happen with the center position and everything. So the Lakers are one of them teams where they got a lot of stuff to figure out this offseason. They have a whole lot of stuff to figure out because a lot of their roster are going to be turned over. So we don't even know how the Lakers are going to look going into training camp. So this is a good pick for them because this is like drafting Marcus Smart to me again at this point, at a later stage of his career. But that's not bad, you know, for 24. That's good. You know, he was a lottery pick. So it just shows you how things evolve and how things change. These guys are more in demand now more than ever. So not a shocker that he was a first round pick. He just sat, you know, a little longer than what people may have thought that he would have. But, you know, it's still a blessing to get your friends and your family in our area in Brooklyn, which is important to basketball, and get drafted, especially in the first round. That's a goal. That's what he wanted to accomplish and now it is a reality for him. So he should just look at it that way and just be happy that he's in the league, even though he's not probably going to play much, and he's probably going to, play at least as the 10th or 12th guy. But that's where he has to start, and we'll see how his career goes. And now the Lakers, this is basically going to be the Knicks pick, and they should already have their decision made up because they traded. So since they traded, they already know who they wanted. And I honestly, like I said, I think the Knicks should try to get some more pieces in the second round. Yeah, I like that. Man, I just said the same thing. I've been getting a lot of this stuff right because I've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing this job for over 10 years. So I like that idea what the Knicks are trying to do. That's the way you got to stretch this run. Their starting lineup, like I said, is one of the best in the league. If you're trying to extend this run on a cheap, that's basically what you have to do. And if they do it, it makes perfect sense. That this is the only way you can do it. But this is just the type of draft where it makes sense, is what I'm saying. Out of respect for the players that's in this draft, they're that good to where you can say, I move down, save cash while still filling out the rest of this roster with quality players. You can only do that if you see players that can fit that mold and fit that type of acceptance and fit that type of pick. So it makes sense until you actually have to find the guys that you feel that can do it. And I feel like this is one of the very few drafts where you can say, okay, first or second round, we can still get a couple guys we like and have them actually play and contribute as rookies. But this actually is a draft where you can get that done. So that's just more showing you how talented this draft is. And I said this is going to be one of the more important ones that we have seen in a while, based off what we have seen, what they did prior to the NBA. So that's just a respect that I have for a lot of guys in the ending of the first round and in the second round. But we'll see what the Knicks do with these next couple picks, or even in the second round tomorrow. But at the end of the day, the pick is up right now. So we'll see what they do. People are starting to head out. People are starting to socialize a little bit. And some people are just not smiling because they feel like they're better than what these franchises think. You know what I mean? And we all have that type of mentality. Like, I'm better than that guy, or I can play just as good as that guy. And I feel like, why is I'm going lower in the draft when I done showed this, I done did that, I done did this. And that's what make us who we are. And that's what make us the players that we become. And that's why you have to look at it and say, I might drop or I went lower than I thought, but I'm the same player and I feel like I can get better. So let me just go out there and do it at a high level to the best of my ability with the opportunity that I might get. So that's how you got to look at it when you're looking at these teams, because most of these teams are playoff teams last year. And if they stay healthy, they most likely going to be playoff teams again. And they don't really need you as much. So we'll see what happens. The pick is in now. So it should be fun seeing how this draft ends. So De La Rey is off the board out of Spain. I don't think he's even in the building, honestly. But he's gone. He's more of an upside guy. To me too, he still has potential to be better in a lot of different areas. But he is going to be a quality player, 6'6", 175 pounds. You want him to get a little stronger, honestly, but he's a blur. He can catch you off guard with that first step, and he can really use that to be able to get to a shot, obviously. And you got to pick which one you want to give to him. But you do have to prove it again in the NBA like everybody else in this draft. The confidence is there. The swagger is there. And, you know, the fact that he's 25 shows you that they really liked him because most people had him going lower. So he's off the board. And now we have to see how this draft is going to end with only 4 picks. And Denver is one of them, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, one of the most iconic duos in the NBA. Jaylen Brown, Tatum still together as of right now. Champions just like Denver in this decade. And now we just have to look at it and say, who's the guy that's going to fall to the second round? And we see some guys that looks like it's going to be a huge disappointment if they do go to the second round, because they going to look at it and say, what happened? What did I do wrong? What did I say? What did I not prove? That I didn't get drafted in the first, I had to get drafted in the second. We already seen some guys fall out of the lottery, and we already seen some teams go with the upside guys. We just seen it again at 25. And now we just have to see the next 4 picks to guarantee who's going to be second round picks. And some of them guys going to be off the board real quick next day, which is tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes for them. Christian Anderson. And the Denver Nuggets pick is in, and they will select who with the number 26 pick. 4 picks left in the NBA draft. 3 hours. I've been going with y'all straight. Terrence Reed Jr. is off the board. Out of UConn, he wasn't there as well, but he ended up moving up a little bit to get selected. 6'9", 264 pounds. Good player. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't want him. He gives them a lot of stuff that can really help them in that paint. So that's good that they was able to get a guy like that for the cheap. I said, you want as many players that can come in and give you something different when it comes to lineups, when it comes to style of play. And that's where he's going to be able to offer them. He probably surprised that he went to Denver or he knew something that we didn't know. But he's off the board. My Celtics, they're picking at 27. I don't know what direction we're going to go in with this pick. I don't even have a guess or a clue. But you know for sure we got a lot of guards. You know for sure we got a lot of guys that like the ball in their hands or like to shoot. And we know that it is one big still left on the board as well that is really NBA ready, is what I should say, to make a contribution right away. And since the Celtics is a team that wants to win now and do it with the guys that we have, as our duo and supporting cast around them, we don't want to shake up the guys that we have around them. So it makes sense to prioritize, just getting another wing or getting a big, and we'll see if they agree with me and make that type of selection with this 27th pick in the draft. Other than that, it's a really good pick for us because there's some good players still left. So we'll see which one we go with. So Chris Annett Jr. is now a Celtic as of right now out of Houston. He was waiting a long time to get drafted. A long time. But it happened. So you just got to take it like that. It can be that way. They came to see him get drafted. They knew he was one of the better players in the draft. And now he finally gets to shake the commissioner's hand. And he's blessed to be able to play basketball for a living. Now let's see what he can do for us. I can't wait to watch some of his games. I already knew who he was. I already watched some of his games before the NBA. And we'll see what he can do. Maybe him dropping a little bit and waiting a little bit and make him a little bit more hungry to prove that he should have got selected a little higher. And we'll take him. Celtics. I'm happy to have him. A huge guy. A really big guy. .6'10", 240. NBA ready body. He really fell in the draft. I'm surprised we was able to get him that low at the draft. I mean, like I said, guys like that with that type of upside, that type of body, usually is already off the board. And now we got him. So I'm not mad about it. That's probably the best value you can get with the 27 pick in this draft. Minnesota is up next. They had a reported trade with the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to see what that is. Only 3 picks left, 28, 29, and 30. And that will be the end of the first round. I mean, we've been going at it for almost 4 hours straight, and we still got 3 picks, showing you how the draft really is and how it can be. Pick is in for the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is going to the Brooklyn Nets. And we will see who the Nets get at 28. I like what they already did in the draft. Now they got a chance to add more, which they shouldn't be mad about that. They should be really happy with what they can get at 28. Still some size and some guards left on that board, and that's what they need at this point. And let's see who they pick. Minnesota will be selecting for the Nets. And they are going with Joshua Jefferson. And he's a guy that I had going in that second to first round. And he would go above and go 28th to the Nets. So that's a really good pick for Brooklyn. That's a really good pick. So this is a good pick. I think this is a really, really good find at 28. You're getting one of the better all-around players. He's a little older, but still young enough to still improve, still grow, can come in and get you buckets. That's a real good pick. Got to get the best player you can get. You can argue some other players is close to his level. But when you look at the team like the Nets, they need people that can put the ball in the basket. They're a team that can compete. They're a team that tries, but they just couldn't score a lot of the time. They just couldn't get anything to go their way. He's 6'7", 246 pounds. He's a playmaker. Obviously, he can find guys. He can get his own shot as well. He's a good rebounder. He understands where to be at on the court. He gives them what they already have, like I said, on their roster, but a little bit more of that. So at the end of the day, he's just a really good player. I mean, you can probably say he needs a little bit more polish. You can say he needs a little bit more range. But at the same time, like I said, you get more skill set players in this draft, and you know exactly what you're going to get from him. You know exactly what he can possibly do for you. And that's probably the best part about taking him a little bit earlier than some of us would have probably did. Cleveland is on the board at 29. They have a lot of decisions to make. Do they want to go for LeBron James? Do they not want to do that? How much money are they going to give to James Harden is another question. What are you going to do with Jared Allen? Because he showed that he's good, but he's also showing you that you might have to upgrade again. They felt like they didn't really want to keep Garland, so they thought that Harden was a better player for them. He accelerates their timeline of being competitive because Darius Garland couldn't stay healthy to basically the entire season because of his injury to his foot, which was his toe or something, one of his toes. And they couldn't really figure that out. So now they get a chance to add a nice young player to their roster, and they don't really have too many needs. They just need, guys that can help them now since they're trying to still compete for a title. And like I said, they have more free agency problems than they do draft problems because they have a really good roster already. They have one of the better rosters on paper going into the draft, and now they have a chance to add to that or just add another asset that can possibly turn into something down the line for them as a trade thing, or just showing you that they can still lose some free agents and still have a guy that can come in and help them as a bench guy or a possible starter, depending on what they choose to go with. There's a lot of good players still left on the board that can really impact the game at a high level for them. So Cleveland took a lot of time to make their choice. They got a lot of guys that they like, is what that means. So now we're going to see who is the guy that they go with. Pick is in, so they took their time. They found a guy that they like, and we're going to see who it is. And that's always the funnest part about the draft, is thinking you know this, thinking you know that, and then getting the official pick in. So now that it is in, we have to wait until Adam Silver walks down that stage and tell us who it is. It's still some guys that can defend. It's still some guys that are size oriented. It is some guys that can also make some shots from three. So do they want the guard? Do they want the big? Do they want the wing? They have a lot of decisions and a lot of choices of what direction they want to go in. And the only problem with them is they only can get one of them as of right now. For what we see, they don't really have too much of a problem with it. But it's going to be official in a couple minutes. So Sacramento will be getting the 29th pick. So Alice Caravan is off the board. Caravan off the board. He can shoot. That's one thing we do know. He's a UConn player. He's 6'6", 225 pounds. He can play. Good jump shooter. Good floor spacer. Good ball mover. Understands where to read and react on the court, and that's all you really need to do as a guard, honestly. Um, he's a really good player for them. So they're happy to have another spacer. Most teams in the NBA want the 3-point shooters if they can get them. If you can do that in something else, you would have been going off the board. And then you look at the Dallas Mavericks at 30, the last pick of the first round. And Mavericks, they can add another quality player that can grow a Cooper Duper flag. And they should be excited about that. It's a lot of guards and wings still on the board. One big that is good, but you still have Lively, you still have Gafford. You're not probably going to look at it that way. They made their pick right away, so they knew the guy that they wanted, and they're going to be taking them off board right now. And the pick is in, and let's see the last pick of the first round, and it will be made by Adam Silver again, and the Dallas Mavericks will be selecting Koa Pete, which was probably the best player on the board or the second best player on the board, depending on who he asks. So he will go in the first round just as the last pick, which still counts. Still should be proud of that. Still should be happy with that. And you're going into a team that is really young, have some guys as veterans, going to have probably a huge roster turnover with Masai being their GM. He's probably going to look at it as these are the guys that they wanted. I want to get some guys that I want. But Koa Pete is a guy that can really defend. He's an aggressive type of player. He's feisty, and the guy just understands how to get to where he needs to get to on the court. And he's an exciting, fun player to watch. They're going to really like him in Dallas, and he does a lot of things for you as a basketball player. So there's not much he ain't going to do. It ain't much he can't do. It's just smoothing out the wrinkles and getting him to be able to expand his range. And once you figure that out, you have a good gem, possibly of a player, and the Mavericks should just be happy to have him. So at the end of the day, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for kicking with me. Thank y'all for stopping by. Thank y'all for coming in and out. And thank y'all for supporting the channel over the last couple years. Thank y'all for all the love. Thank y'all for all the support. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell to get the analysis when it first come out. Y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. Peace. And I'll see y'all tomorrow with the NBA draft and whatever happens before that. And after that, if it's something that I need to say or make. Other than that, this was a really, really good first round. Went kind of expected in that first 15. That changed a lot from 15 to 30. And I'm expecting a lot more moves to be made when it comes to gathering talent and trying to find a way to save some money more in the second round for a lot of these teams.
And some teams going to get some really good players, and some teams going to just have to pass up players because of the salary cap situation they're under. And on top of that, it's just a lot of talent in this draft. And I can't wait to see guys' dreams come true by being able to get into the NBA, possibly and have a chance to play basketball for a living. And that's their goal, and that's what they wanted to accomplish. And it's going to be a blessing for me to see that happen and see more talent come into the league and have more players to watch and enjoy. And that's what I like to see as an analyst and as a person that loves the game. It's just good to see more player, more variety, more different styles, and also more guys that just want to do it and give it their all. So, we already know who the number one pick is now. We know that the top 4 went the way that we thought. Keaton was always that guy that was moving up or down, and he finally was able to get that 5th pick that people thought that he possibly should be. And then after that, the draft just became who wanted the players and who didn't. And that's how it always goes. But it really happened towards that end. But other than that, I'm excited for the second round. And I hopefully see the people that want to spend time with me tomorrow in there as well. And good night. And hopefully I see you all in the morning, the evening, or at night again, if it's meant to be. Peace.